And of course, I gotta say good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning to the folks at home tuned in via GVD TV channel 115. And a special good morning to my lovely co-host Susie Q.
Good morning.
Yeah, you said good morning this morning. Why is your microphone like that there this morning?
Oh, I don't
fix
know.
it? You know how to fix it? You know how to fix it? You want me to help you?
Yes, I know to fix
Do
it.
you want me to help you?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah,
Right. There's
I know
nothing
to
wrong.
fix it.
Are women generally afraid to ask men for help? When
No, we're not. It's just that we, yeah.
Re what?
It's okay.
No, I want to hear.
It's just like women like myself
Uh-huh.
like to, do things for herself. Not play independent.
Is there a downside to a woman like
We
yourself?
cannot listen. I don't believe in people saying, "Oh, I am an independent person." We are not independent. No man is an island. You always need help from somebody, so you will never be independent. I don't believe in that. But I am the type of person who tries to do things for herself.
You try, at least try.
Yes.
And if you can't succeed,
Then I'll ask for help.
you'll call for a man's help.
Not necessarily a man's help.
You call for help.
I'll call for help.
Because, I mean, if you can't do it, chances are your girlfriend might not be able to do it.
Yeah. There
So you have to
go.
call your girlfriend's husband to help you.
You see, you always try to go down
But
some,
I'm just trying to make sure that I don't say that you're a
some
man.
serious
because
roads,
then you're gonna tell me,
Make sure you have a four-wheel drive.
You're going to tell me, yes, you're going to tell me, oh, well, I don't have a man. So then you would ask your girlfriend's husband, is there anything wrong with asking, let's say, for instance, your best friend's husband to help you with something around the house, maybe change a light bulb?
As long as she's okay with it.
Yeah?
As long
So
as she's
would you
okay with
ask him or would you ask her?
It depends on the relationship that I have with her and her husband. Right? And as I said to you, as long as she's okay with it, I don't have a problem. Ask him for help, of course.
All right, so let's work with the script. So you need a light bulb change. You tried to reach it, you can't do it. Bad angle, too high on the wall. You approach your girlfriend. How do you approach the whole situation?
All right, let's say her name is Annette. I say, Annette, tell Charles that my light bulb needs to be fixed. Ask him if he can do it for me, please. As I said to you, it depends on the relationship that I have with them.
Okay.
Right? Now, if it's
me
a
that
girlfriend
sounds- to me
I
that-
don't, that we're not all that tight and so on,
Right.
right? I'd say, Annette, I have a light bulb that needs to be fixed. Is it possible that your husband could fix it for me, if it's okay? That kind of thing. But I wouldn't just go say, oh, Annette, my light bulb needs fixing.
Wouldn't it be better?
Tell what is it
Wouldn't it be
to-
because to me now, again, if you're not close with Annette, she might have a problem sending her husband over to your house, eh?
Well, it depends. As I say to you, it depends on the relationship that I have with Annette.
And I mean, to me,
I wouldn't ask Annette if I don't have a good relationship with Annette. I would never do that.
You would never ask her.
Yeah, but if I consider her my best friend, and we on a good vibe and thing, and the husband and stuff like that, and you can call him and say, yeah, my light need to be fixed. You can come do it for me, please. That kind of thing. As I say, it depends on the relationship that we have.
I'm under the impression, though, and show me. I want a vote of hands in the back that most women, no matter how tight you are with them, when it comes to their husbands, they're not sending their husband over to your house to fix no light bulb just so. Am I right or wrong?
It depends.
I got 1, 2.
If you don't trust your husband, then you
2,
do
3,
it.
4 hands in the back. 4 hands in the back there.
No, but listen.
In the production
Well,
room.
those hands, they know why they're
Trust.
saying that. But listen, for me, I'm talking about me now. If
No,
I'm
no,
married to the
you're
man, if I'm married to the man,
the masses.
if I'm married to the man, all right, well, I'm representing the man. If you're married to the man and you trust the man, you shouldn't have a problem with the man going to fix the
So should be the case, but chances are, majority of women would not. They'll find a way to bring the hammer and the screws, but it's a light bulb. They're gonna, just goes to show they don't know what he's, what's entailed. Wrong tools, but they have to be there.
That's why you should know your man.
Well, you see, that's the thing, and that's another story. That's for another show. If they know that even your close neighbors and there's no fence, and they can actually see the husband on the ladder, they want to be there to make sure that it's just a light bulb you're changing.
She's insecure.
No.
Yes, man, she's
But I think
insecure.
that's the nature of women.
No, that's not the nature of woman. No.
Being overprotective.
She's insecure. Any woman that behave like that is insecure.
I don't think that insecurity could be the only issue here.
Or maybe she know that the neighbor have a thing for her husband.
No, well, I mean, if the neighbor had a thing for her husband, I don't think the neighbor was so bold to ask the wife to.
You'd be surprised to know.
Well, that's true too. Again, back to the women. But you see my point.
You see you.
All right, so man versus woman, folks. That's a good morning. Good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. You know me. I always put something in your head. I always give you something to think about. What if that light bulb your neighbor asks you to send your husband to change is not really a light bulb?
Well,
and you send him.
Well, if that is the case,
and then you find out that it wasn't a light bulb that he needed to change.
You know me. You know what's going to happen. I ain't even going down that road right now. I ain't even going down that road right now. You know what's going to happen. I asked the
question. I asked for the answer. What if you find out down the road that you sent him over there to change the light bulb and, you know.
And he went over there for other things. Yeah. Well, stay over there. Simple as that.
It's not simple. It's not as
it's simple. As simple as that for me.
All right.
It's as simple as that for me.
Anyways, good morning, St. Lucia, once again. Good morning to the folks at home, on TV, watching us via GVD channel 115. Yeah, the folks that are listening while they're at work, the folks that are on the buses, the bus drivers. Good morning. Good morning to everyone.
Morning, everybody.
I want you to ask a question. You know, you haven't asked a question for a while.
Okay, first of all, how's my makeup today?
What makeup?
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Don't do that. I did my makeup
okay.
myself this morning. Brittany was not there, so I had to do it.
Matching top, matching eyeshadow.
I can't deal with you, you know. Yeah. I tried. Bree wasn't home this morning, bravo. I had to do it myself.
I'm not saying this. At least I'm not saying too much makeup.
Well, what makeup?
But that's a compliment. It's a compliment. It shows that the makeup that you have is
just right.
Just right.
Okay,
you did a good job.
You. Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. So let me ask you now. Why is it that a man thinks that if he spends his money to send a woman to school, that woman is obligated to him in every way?
I mean, education is very expensive. And when a man decides, or when a man agrees to help a woman through school, he actually is invested in her future and possibly a future with him. And that's what there's no man in the world that would pay a woman's way through school for her to end up with somebody else. Because that somebody else is going to reap the benefits of his hard work.
Yeah, but
right. But needless to say, okay, go ahead, ask a question.
All right. So he spends his money to send her to school, right? And after sending her to school, things not working out, whether on his part or her part, things not working out. Why do you still want to hold on to the relation? I understand, he made an investment, and I would not advise any woman to make no man pay for your education yourself. Work and send yourself to school. Work and send yourself to school. I don't agree with no woman making no man pay for their education. But so as you say, circumstances, and they're not right. Things not working out on either his part or her part. And it's almost like he still wants to, men tend to want to hold the woman hostage in the relationship because of that one factor. I don't understand that.
I don't know if it's so much, if we can use the word hostage.
But that's what it comes across as.
At the end of the day.
Telling everybody, I pay for her education
but that
and
usually
this
comes,
and that.
That usually
you're not
comes,
telling the people what you doing, why the woman want to
That usually
leave.
comes, and I'm not defending the guys that do that because I believe that that's something. But what I'm saying is that no man in his right mind, or no woman as a matter of fact in the right mind, gets into a relationship to see the end of the relationship. Or with that in mind, that I can't wait till we get to that point where
it's ending.
So you get together, whether it's a situation where if the person's in school, the man's usually older, who might a lot of times already have their life. You know, they might have a wife or whatever, and they see somebody young and or younger, and I mean, it's our culture to do these things. What do you expect though in the end? And that's really what it is. Is what do you expect to come out of it? Are you doing it so that this person can have an education and have a life, a chance at a better life, or are you doing it so that when this person comes out of school, this person can pay you back? Because there's a difference, and the payback doesn't really have to be in actual monies back. If you get what I'm saying. A lot of times we have to look at the reason why people are doing things.
That's what I'm saying, because I can understand a man and a woman being together and he sends her to school, and you know, after she leaves school, do something to help him, right? That's my take on it. Do something to help him, exactly
acknowledge what he did.
Exactly.
For you.
But at the end of the day, don't use it as, you know, holding the woman hostage.
It's the same.
Because it would look as though you did it because you're looking for some kind of,
you know,
I don't know.
Life has a way of dealing, you know, cards to you. Let's take for instance, a man meets a woman, and when he meets her, you know, maybe she might not have been you know, working well, you know, she probably needed some help here and there, and he did, and help her out, like you said, put her through school. She started to build herself up now as an individual, starting to acquire things, and then all of a sudden when it's almost like when you get to that point where you feel, okay, well, all right, I've done all of this to help you, now that you're there, now that things are better with you, I expect to have either you be with me
or helping you to get to a certain level. And I agree with that 100%.
And it's very ticklish. And if you notice, I was kind of trying to find the right words to put in place because people see it differently.
Yeah.
A lot of times, when it comes to older men and younger girls or younger women, I think that a lot of men make that mistake where they see that they're in a position to help the person. Instead of doing it out of the goodness of their heart, they're doing it with the expectation of something in return. And that usually causes the problem. I'm going to be devil's advocate now. And then you have some women who they know that they're not going to stay in the relationship. They use the man to get to a certain point where their education is concerned. And then afterwards, you know, they reach a certain level. They drop the man because what? The man is not in my class or my category anymore. You knew that before you got you got the man to spend his money and send you to school and do whatever to make your life better. I hate when women do that. And that's the thing. That's what causes a lot of problems, because what happens is you have a man here who's saying that I don't mind sacrifice, and sometimes these men do make sacrifice. Yes, I know. Sometimes the money that they spend on the books and helping these women to go through school, it's money that they were supposed to use somewhere else. Exactly. And they'll make the sacrifice. What I find though is, and we had a situation a while ago, something similar to that, where he helped her to go to law school. She became a lawyer, and all of a sudden, because he was a truck driver, the relationship wasn't, any good anymore. You know. You see, now I think too. What we tend to forget is that there are times when people are when people are in situations and relationships, it's you help me or I help you, and then you in turn reach back and pull me up. You see, they have this saying. They have this saying in Jamaica, wanty can't get you and getty no wanty, right? I've seen where men put their all out to make sure that their girlfriend or their wife, get a solid education and then they farm the fool afterwards. I had to pay myself through college, pay myself through university, pay myself for any course that I had to do, right? And at the end of the day, I was still willing to push for my husband to go to university.
which he didn't really accept, push for him to get some subjects and stuff like that. And you wonder to yourself, why wasn't I privileged to get that kind of treatment that I see some other women getting? Not that I really want a man to pay for my education, because I feel more,
empowered.
Yes, when I do my thing myself. But at the same time, I do it myself, and I'm trying to help a man to get his. What about the women who are getting it good, and then they turn their back?
No care in the world. No
and
care
leave
in
the man
world.
alone, and but at the same,
especially when the man needs them.
but what I don't agree with is when you do it and then you want to use it to hold a woman hostage.
Sure.
Don't do that.
I think really and truly, in any good man's mind, if you do, or if you end up in a situation where you're gonna help a woman move forward, it should be done with no prejudice.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be expecting anything. If you're in a relationship, kudos to you. Of course, let the relationship do its course. And if you end up staying together, I think all the better. But if in future, after she's gotten her degrees, and you know, if it's not a situation where she feels that you're now too low for her, then that's different.
That's different.
But if things don't work out and she decides to move on, maybe you should just bless her and say, you know what? At least you can take some pride in knowing that you helped that individual get to where they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't come with any reward.
But the funny thing about it is, the reward may not come from her.
Exactly.
It will come from somewhere else.
It could be in the form of a lesson to you.
That's right.
You might be more careful next time
That's right.
how you go about a situation similar to that.
Yeah.
So sometimes it doesn't have to always come in a payback. It comes from maybe even you being a little more diligent as to how you go about your life.
Right.
All right. So
and women, my advice to you is, don't depend on a man to do these things for you. If he can help, fine, let him help, but at least do a little part of it. Don't depend fully on the man.
And always be appreciative. You have to always show appreciation
Yeah.
for everything. No matter how bad a relationship ends, I think the onus is on both parties to always appreciate people for who they are, and not for what you can get out of the relationship. Okay, so well, you know what, things ain't working out, we break up, so I want to be your enemy. No. At the end of the day, you can still appreciate some, because there's no way you can tell me that you in a relationship with someone, no matter how long it lasts, that you didn't come away learning something from the relationship. And that in itself is just enough for you to say, you know what, all right, at least I get. Education is expensive.
Very expensive.
And some of the lessons that we learn, we need.
Yeah.
And we learn them in some of the weirdest places. All right.
That the truth.
All right. That's just about 21 minutes after the hour. It's time for us to go into our situation this morning. I know Tamara is waiting.
Morning, Tamara.
We do have one. I'm going to ask my good friend, Susie Q, who didn't argue with me this morning.
And you like that part?
Yes, I do. I like it when you argue.
Oh, really? No.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
I like it when we fight.
All
like
right.
an old married couple. We're going to ask you to do the honors for us.
Okay, here we go.
Ready?
Good day to you both. I am more confused now than ever, and I could really use your help. I am a single mother of 3 who has been single for 2 years now. Back in February, I recently met this guy who is in prison. We were pen pals for a while, and eventually we started seeing each other. He asked me to be his girlfriend, and he told me he wants to take things slow. I recently met his family who loves me, and they invited me over with my kids because they want to meet them as well. I bought him a phone and take food for him once a week. And when I go visit, once a week when I go visit, because he is in the same town as me. This one don't look like he's from St. Lucia. He talks to my kids and wants to meet them as well. We even made a joint Facebook account together. My question is, how do I know if he is just talking game and not using me because he's lonely or looks forward to the food I take to him on Sundays.
Right.
We talk on a daily basis, in fact. The other day, his sister and I visited him together, and it was great. He gets out in December, and I am looking forward to it, but I am unsure if I am making the right choice, especially with my children involved. Please help me because I just want to know if I am wasting my time.
Right. Ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know,
also
the
like
thing is,
Lucia because she says she takes phone to him.
Yeah.
And
I personally, I have something. I'm not saying that when you incarcerated, that you can't be in a new relationship. But I'm really want to question the fact of how does she. I mean, the man is in jail. He's in prison. You've done all the wrong things, as far as I'm concerned. Introduce him to your children. I mean, you really don't know what this person is like. Yes, you've met his family and they might seem nice and you might like maybe that's what it is.
yeah.
Right? But you don't know this person. You've already introduced your children. How do you explain to your child that your new boyfriend is in prison?
But I'm curious though. If he's in prison, how did she meet him? Or maybe she met him before.
I think she said they were pen pals. They started writing each other or something, right? The thing about that again, I am wanting to ask myself if it's really lonely. This person is lonely because these guys are there for a reason, right? And I think this is where we lose sight. They are there to be rehabilitated, and so they can come back into society.
They can be reintegrated into society.
Right.
But then
and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have girlfriends and wives and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, some of them meet people while in prison in the system, and they come out and things go on, and turns out fine.
Yeah.
But I am just trying to look at it from my perspective. Do I really want to bring my children around someone who I don't know, who's in prison?
That's true. I am kind of skeptic about it too. But given the fact that she got to meet his family, she says that the family
that
loves
doesn't say
him.
that doesn't say anything. That really doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
It doesn't
really,
say anything.
It doesn't say anything
It doesn't
about
say
the
anything.
individual himself.
The family's mindset isn't his mindset,
That's true.
right? And obviously, if his family is a good family, why is it he's in prison? I know some of us make mistakes, and because of the mistakes we make, we have to go through the protocol, right? But at the same time, he's in prison. She just met him. Take it easy. Get to know the guy. When he comes out of prison, get to know him. And then you can start doing things like bringing your children around.
See, that's the.
Go ahead.
Don't start anything now. All right.
No, I just give you the
That's
harsh
the
reality.
danger of staying single for so long.
You become desperate. I smell desperation here. Is that what it is?
It could be.
No. You said it. No, don't retract your statement. But could be. Speaking from experience here, are we?
Leave me alone. What? You see, that's why I didn't want to bring that up, But you can be desperate, but desperate and cautious.
Exactly.
Desperate and cautious.
And for you to hold yourself back from a relationship for that amount of time, it says that you really want to find something of substance, right?
Yeah, I did for 5 years, right? And I wouldn't. Let me not say certain things on air.
Go ahead.
No, I can't. There are certain things you can't say on air.
Okay.
Leave that alone.
All
But I stayed away for 5. I stayed out of a relationship for 5 years, right? And it was 5 happy years. You didn't have a man to
stress you.
Stress me out.
As you always say. So are we really stressed?
Huh?
Men are stressed?
You can be.
Can be. All right.
Yes.
Okay, good.
You can be. But when you're single, people who are single, enjoy your single life. Yeah. But I was enjoying my single life, to be honest with you. But then we were not made to be alone. right? So eventually, you know, you're gonna get lonely. You see,
Your
Susie
friends
and Jeff
getting married,
together,
yeah.
and no, not getting married. Don't go down
No,
that
but
road
all
yet.
that would happen. You will see all of that.
And you see Susie and Jeff together, and they're looking so loving, and you begin to think, oh, I wish, oh, yeah, you know, that kind of thing, right? But the desperation part of it comes when you begin to get older and you realize that, oh my God, I might end up by myself when I'm old. You know, but then you still have to approach with caution. You have to be very cautious. So maybe that's what.
Are we usually too hard on ourselves, or do women take it hard on themselves when they're single and they see all this marriages going on around them and all these new relationships going on around them, and they're saying to themselves, okay, well, everybody has a boyfriend, everybody's have a husband, and one to me. Do women go through that phase?
Yes, women do go through that phase.
Where you say to yourself, you know what, in your mind you say, boy, next year this time I have to be married.
Well, not me. Not this girl.
Oh, I have to be in a relationship.
But I know of women who do say these kind of things. And you have some women who they just feel like they can't be alone. They can't do without a man. So they jump from one relationship to the next. So if as soon as this one finish, if this one ends, they have to find another one tomorrow morning.
Right.
You have women who are like that. And that's not wise. Because you just came out of a relationship, and you don't give yourself any time to, you know,
no soul searching time.
You just jump from one to the next, and then you call I think you said it the other day. You jump out of that and you go over into that relationship with the same baggage that you had over here.
Is there anything in particular that would cause that to happen though?
Yes,
for these women,
it can be that they had a poor childhood. It can be that where, you know, father wasn't present and they need to have a man figure in their life, somebody that is a sense of security for some, and in terms of emotional security, for some it's financial security, where they don't want to work, they want to depend on a man,
or might not be able to support themselves, and if they have any children, their children on their own. So it's various reasons. Women do these things for various reasons. That is why I encourage women to empower themselves. And by that you would encourage them to do what?
To get a good education, right? Find you have courses that you don't even have to pay for, and you do the course and get your certificate. So in our world today, financing your education should not be a problem, because there are so many courses that are being offered now that the government has put into place, and persons fail to take advantage of that. You have so many courses online that you can do for free. You have free online courses, right? The world today is made up where persons can be easily empowered, but who knows? I don't know why people refuse to do it.
And I'm going back to our writer here. I believe that the fact that she hasn't really physically met this person. Well, I mean, she's seen him, but when you're in prison, what do you do? You see the person through the glass, right? Through a glass, or there's usually a barrier between the two of you, unless there's a special occasion at the prison. So, I don't think you know him enough to one. Even though you've been around his family, you could have done that. But to bring your children around this guy that you hardly know anything of, I wonder if she even know the real reason why he's in prison.
Yeah, she didn't mention that.
She didn't mention that.
And she says he gets out in December.
I personally believe that you should have waited until after, get to know him for a few months and see how things go with you and him, and then you start introducing different elements of the relationship to it. Which would include the children and the family and all of that. But
if you look at it, she herself is having that kind of little doubt, you know, about the whole thing.
She is having doubts. But to me, you're having doubts, but you've already made that major step.
Made a step, exactly.
dry in here today. And I believe that she should be very, 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 very cautious as to how she move forward. Children, just remember, sometimes we bring people into our lives that don't really fit in with what we have planned or the way in which we raise our children. I think too often parents are too quick to bring their children around new partners.
Yeah, true. That's so true.
Make sure when you do that it's already working.
Yeah. As for me, I'm very skeptical when it comes on to my girls.
You have to. There's too many things happen too fast in this day and age.
Yeah.
And especially when you have girls.
Yeah.
When you have girls, you really ought to be very cautious because, I mean, people come in all. Oh, thank you very much. See, this is why I love my team. See, a little cough and they brought me some cold. All right, thank you very much, guys. And that's what it is. Now you're asking yourself, after you've made all those bold moves, whether or not you think this relationship is going to go anywhere.
I think she knows, you know.
She knows.
She knows because if after making all those bold steps, you're now going to be asking these questions, it means deep down within yourself, you know something. You know, you see our instinct. It's very, very critical to making decisions. Because sometimes we feel within ourselves that energy that, you know, this thing, there's something about this thing that just not right. Or, you know, I feel a vibe. This is what you feel it, you know it. But sometimes we go against our instincts, and that's where we always end up on the wrong side of things. So most of the times, it's best to follow our instincts.
That's true. That's true. And that's the thing, you know, most of us, we feel it. We have a gut feeling. We know it's going to happen. We can tell what's going to happen.
I guess
but
we're
guess
just
what?
too adventurous.
Yeah. And that is the problem right there.
Yes.
That's the problem right there. We don't want to. We know what the outcome is, but we don't want it to come.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's it for true, you know. We know what the outcome, but we don't want it to come.
Yeah, we want the fairy tale to end. We know it's not good for us, but guess what? You know, we don't want to put it down.
Yeah, we want the Cinderella effect.
Yeah. So I really, and as for the kids, again, my lady, be very careful who you bring around your children. I think that's very important, and you as a parent should put your children's safety first. Put your children first. I'm not saying that because he's in prison that he's any worse than me.
Yes.
You understand
still
me?
have to be cautious.
But you still have to be cautious.
Right.
Even for people that are not in prison, you meet a new boyfriend, get to know the boyfriend first. Know that the boyfriend is the type of person that you would want to have as a father figure, a role model.
Right.
Because even if your children's father is active in their lives, you still want that person that you're with to be, you know, a role model, somebody that these children can look up to, or somebody that can father these children, steer them in the right direction whenever they need to.
Exactly.
And that's very, very important. That's very important. We also need to remember that children are like sponge.
Yeah.
They learn and they soak things up.
That's right.
Depends on what your boyfriend went to prison for. Some of those habits he will display around the children, and they'll pick it up. Is that what you want?
That's true. That is true.
Is that what you want?
That is so true.
Needless to say, like I said a few minutes ago, it doesn't mean that because he's been in prison, the system, that he is any different than me. I mean, this guy could have the best character in the world, just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Wrong time, right?
But at the same time, I think the fact that he's there sends a smoke signal, and it's a smoke signal that you ought to pay attention to.
Yes, and pay attention to, as I said, her instinct, because she says she's unsure. Because it's almost like she doesn't know what to expect, even though she has been communicating with him and all of that. She still doesn't know what to expect when he gets out, which means she don't know anything about him. She don't
Right.
have a clue as to who this individual is, even though they have been communicating.
I clearly would say that she put the carriage before the horse here.
Yes.
I think she did a few things the wrong way, or she placed them in the wrong
She didn't
prioritize
Right.
priority, and this is why she's where she's at now, where she's wondering if she made the right decisions and if this is going to work out. And I don't believe that she has made the right decisions. As to whether it's going to work out, again, that's something that's going to happen after he comes out of prison. There's nothing he can say to her right now or do that from within the system that would in my mind convince her that he is the right person for her. Because we still have to think of how society is going to treat him when he comes out based on what he did.
That's right.
Is he going to be able to get a job? Is he going to get frustrated after 6 months of trying to get a job and just kind of do a relapse and go back into whatever it is that brought him
in there in the first place, right.
If it was a criminal activity?
Right.
And the fact that if it was a criminal activity, the fact that he actually went to prison because of that, is that really what you want in your life?
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the letter again, and I'm seeing where she says that she was without anybody for 2 years, and she has her how many kids? 3 kids, right? Which means she was managing well on her own.
Of
so
course.
it's not like she needed a man to, take care of her children, or so I don't understand why she did that so fast. As you say, maybe it's loneliness. Could be loneliness.
You think that that's
It
what
could
is?
be loneliness, yeah.
But how is loneliness gonna come into play here, because he's still not with her? He's in prison.
No, but at least, they're
She's
communicating with each
She's like,
other, right? She feels like, she have this man in her corner. They might remember, she's single.
I mean, love finds its way no matter what.
Where, yeah.
Right? And trust me, I'm sure there's a lot of people right now who's saying, well, my husband was in prison and we started off as pen pals and it's 50 years.
Yeah, true.
So
you never know where it will end up.
I'm in no way downplaying the fact that you can, start a relationship from in that type of environment. But I'm just cautioning her to be very careful. Caller, good morning. Hello. Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead. Caller, go ahead. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
The last time we had there was a similar
Hello?
All right. She's there. I think she just accidentally muted the call. Yes, go ahead.
So the last time we had a similar letter, and I went down on the girl too bad, and the guy, I went down on them too bad. So I would like to apologize to them.
All right.
But the ladies, it's deeper than that. She knows exactly what to do. It goes deeper than that. She knows exactly what to do. I don't know what to say for that lady, because she just go ahead and do everything like on her own. Like she just push herself. She just, whatever the man was saying, and she make it out to be what it was, and she just push herself forward to the man.
Yeah, she did it without thinking.
Yeah, she did it with thinking, and
That's what love does to you.
Children in.
That's what love does to you when you fall.
Yeah, she brought the children in and all mix up. She brought the children. She went in a sister. Like she just pushing herself into people. And I'm not saying that the man is a bad person.
Right.
When you see them inside there, they like, you swear they change and everything. But the moment they come out is another story. Some of them another story. Some of them they really, really bored, and they just reflecting on how it should have been, and then they just, as if they take it out on people, and like they going through the healing process in jail and they just want to pass it on whoever that's available.
Something happened to me. Something happened to me a couple of years ago. I was doing a course, right? And it was like a scholarship. So, you know, we had boarding and stuff like that.
Right.
So one morning, I just finished studying and I went to bed, and about minutes to 2 in the morning, my phone rang. So I'm like, who could be calling me at this hour? So I looked at the number. I didn't know the number. So I said, you know something, let me answer, because I'm miles away from my children and I don't want anything to happen to, you know, to them. And so I took up the phone and I answered. The person who answered, I wasn't familiar with the voice or anything. The person said, good morning, don't hang up. I need somebody to talk to. I'm like, okay. So I said, all right, good morning. Who am I speaking with? The person said to me, you don't know me, you know, but I just need somebody to talk to. So I said, okay, what do you want to talk about? And the person told me their name, and they were saying that, oh, they're feeling lonely right now. So the moment he said, I'm feeling lonely right now, I was just about to ready to end the conversation. And I said, listen, do not go down that road. I'm not into... And he said, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, I'm lonely. I need somebody to talk to. I said, okay. Only to find out the man was calling from one of them penal institutions in...
Okay.
So I'm like, where did you get a phone to call me? He said, don't mind that. We have our ways. Right. And he was there. We were on the phone for hours talking, right? And after we spoke and so on, he was telling me he has no girlfriend and he's looking for a girlfriend and whatever. So yes. So I said to him, but you're in prison. I said to him, you're in prison. He said, yeah, but that don't stop you from having a girlfriend. So I said, well, I think you...
I almost got a lucky day. Why?
What you say, Tamara?
You almost got a lucky day. You almost got a lucky day.
What's wrong with you, Tamara? Be quiet. So he's there now building conversation, only to find out that he's related to somebody that I know very well. No, that make it even worse. So you find that these fellows, they'll prey on women on the outside in whatever way they can for you to come to them, take stuff for them, communicate with other persons on the outside for them, and these kind of things. So we have to be careful. Women have to be careful about these things. Don't just grab a man because you're lonely or you're desperate. Don't do that. Because if, as lonely as I wasn't desperate.
So you admit you were lonely at the time.
Listen, don't. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Before I leave,
That's why you have to tell people like you, people not to tell people like you their business, you know.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah. You're saying to
before I leave, the mere fact that her conscience telling her something like she,
right.
The mere fact that her conscience telling her something is up.
Right.
So she should try and look to see, you know, try and think, not think, but you know, look a little deeper in that, and whatever her conscience tells her is just so.
Just do it.
She knows exactly what to do. That's why she writing.
Carla, what would you do? What would you do if you were in that situation? Or would you ever put yourself in that situation?
First of all, you know, if that person know me before they went to jail and I know that person well, you know, I don't mind speaking to that person. But if you call me from jail and I'm not doing, no, I'm not doing that. No.
Yeah.
So you're not willing to give nobody a chance from behind bars?
Well, I'm not saying that, but how you get my phone number? Next thing you tell me, bring this for you.
And you know, he told me he just dialed randomly tomorrow. He just dialed a random number and it so happened to be mine.
No borderless prison officer not coming by my door and ask me what no. It's okay.
Remind me if I go to jail never to call you.
Prison officer not coming and tell me
if I go to prison never to call you. Remind me if I go to prison never to call you.
Pardon?
Remind me if I ever go to prison.
If it's you, I will answer. You know already.
All right, you got to know that. You got to know that.
Bye.
All right, take care. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know. I mean, this could very well be a pastime for him, just something for him to pass the time. Whereas she's outside planning, you know, her way forward with this.
Yeah.
He could just bounce out of prison the day he's released and say, "Okay, all right, see you later."
Yeah.
I mean, never heard from.
Or she might just approach him and he said, "But hey, I didn't want it to go that far. We were just friends, you know, that kind of thing. You're not sure about the man yet.
Right.
I don't know. I'm probably old school, as I say.
You think you're old school?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I find that a lot of women don't think like me. So I probably boring or old school. One out of
That's what it is, boring or old school.
Either. I'm either boring or old school. Yeah.
All right. Again, I'm just gonna say that I believe that she did put the carriage before the horse. Yeah. A lot of things that she did, I don't believe that she should have done already. She should have waited until, if it's December, wait until he comes out. And I say get to know the guy first. If you don't get to know the guy, then you don't get to know what you're getting into.
Yeah,
right?
I would have really loved to have known the age of her children and
Especially,
how they feel
yes.
about the fact that they were introduced to a man that is behind bars as their mothers.
And the older they are, is the more they will fully understand the whole idea of the prison system. So that is definitely something that I would be interested in finding out. Again, ladies, take your time. Especially when you have children. If it's just you and you don't have any kids, that's fine. You can put yourself at risk. You can do it your way. But when you have children, you have to always put their safety first.
That's right.
Always get to know the people that you're bringing around your children. And that's the mistake I think a lot of women make. And then when they do find out that they've made a mistake, it's usually too late.
Too late.
All right.
And the funny thing about it is, as you say before, they see after they've made the mistake, they see what's coming, but they refuse to pull back. They prefer to continue. They notice the consequences that will come with the decision that they've made. But for some reason, they continue, and it's almost like they're hoping
that things are going to
will change, or things will.
It will turn out different.
Yes,
than what is expected.
Than what it exactly. So, as you say, we just need to be cautious. Women need to think before they act when it comes on to men.
Who was more likely to introduce?
Say nothing.
Who's more likely to introduce the kids to that new person, men or women?
Women always want to introduce their kids to. And I think it's because in most cases, men always make a decision based on whether or not, or takes the relationship serious in the beginning, based on whether or not you have children. Because you have men who don't want a woman who has children. Right? So I think women, a woman is quicker to accept a man with a child than a man is to accept a woman with a child. Right.
I beg to differ. I think it can be an even balance in that.
Really?
Yeah, man.
You think so?
I think you see, the thing is,
I always hear a lot of men say, "I don't want no woman with that."
That's not true. That's not true.
I've heard it all the time.
Men generally, the thing is about men is, okay, when a woman is interested in a man, right, and he has children, she'll say to him, "Look, get your kids, let's go out, let's go somewhere." She would encourage that. Whereas men will come pick you up and ask you to leave the kids with somebody.
But why?
So this is different, and it's just different because we're not too. I don't know if it's something that has to grow on us, All right, so she have kids. So now that the relationship is getting serious, especially if the relationship isn't a serious one, we kind of shy away from it. And then you get to the point where you start building, and you start realizing, okay, more and more. All right, I have to start taking these kids serious now. They're always with us. I guess
that's my my point exactly. Right. Women are quicker to accept a man with children than a man is to accept a woman with children.
But I think women can be the same way too.
Women, yeah, you can. I'm not saying that there isn't the 1 and 2, right? You have women who are like that, but you find it more on the part of men. They don't want a woman with children. Most men, and these are the men who don't like responsibility.
True.
These are the men that
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
So I believe that men tend to yeah.
All right. Any last words for our writer, because we're getting close to wrap up time. We've got about 6 minutes to go.
Well, my advice to her is that follow your instincts. It's clear that she's having some kind of doubt, some kind of questioning now that it is drawing closer to the time. Could it be that
reality is coming close?
And not just that.
Maybe hitting close.
Could it be that she herself didn't really want the relationship? She just found fun in it because he's behind bars. Because remember, she has been single for 2 years.
Right.
He's behind bars. They don't really have any kind of physical connection or anything like that, right? And now that he's coming out, reality is hitting home. So you're gonna have physical connection with him now and whatnot and all of that.
To prepare herself to either run for the hills.
Exactly. So it could be that, right? Or it, as you were discussing earlier, she's now realizing that she has pulled a man in her life that she knows nothing about, and she don't know what to do about it. You understand? So my advice to her right now is, listen, tell the man how you feel, and if anything, kind of slow things down, and I don't know, start over or something.
I agree with most of what you said, but I want to encourage her. This is where I'm going to approach it. I want to approach it from an encouragement standpoint. I want to encourage her to be very cautious, right? She's done a few things, as far as I'm concerned, that I think that she should not have done, which was getting her kids involved already. She can pull that back, but she also don't want to remove it completely,
right?
Because now he will, if he has good intentions in his mind, it's like, okay, well, now that I'm here, you're not, so you gotta be careful. It's a very ticklish situation for her. She has to be very, very careful as to how she approach this whole situation, because just in the event that he does have good intentions, right, removing herself too fast can cause a problem there. What I would do though is encourage her to be very, very, very cautious, cautious. Dot your I's, cross your T's. Make sure that before you go any further, that this is what you really want.
Right.
Get to know him. That's very important. So for me, that's the most important thing that you need to do right now.
If he does have good intentions and he gets out, he's going to want a good woman to be there for him.
Children not.
Right.
And so, I believe that the most important thing is for her to get to know him better. By doing so, you will get to know his intentions and everything else that falls into place with that.
Yes.
So spend the time when he comes out. Maybe just tell him, look, I want to take it a little slow. Let's back it up a little bit. Don't rush into anything. And then you sort of rewind yourself to get to know him. I think that's very important. The fact that this family is there to support the relationship, because you said that you've met the family and the family likes you and whatever, that's a good sign. It's a good sign. Right. But maybe also they could be looking at you as the reason to keep him in control,
right?
Or to help him to steer him in a certain direction,
right?
So again, you want to look at how they look at you, because that could just be, well, if he has a responsible woman, a woman with children or whatever, people think that way, then maybe he might do what he used to do. Right. He might change his ways if he has a response.
Yes,
can and cannot work. It might or it might not work, right? So all of these are things that you need to put into perspective and really take a hard look at. relationships, especially the ones that start in funny ways, can be as fruitful as a regular relationship, or one that it starts where a man meets a woman and the whole. It all depends on the individual. So it's the mindset which he's in is what you have to think of.
And as you say, approach with caution.
Also, don't wear your heart on your sleeve. This man's coming out of prison. He's going to have to reintegrate himself into society, get a job and all of that.
Right.
Don't cushion him. Don't make him feel, well, okay, I'm okay because my girl has, or my woman have food and I can eat tonight. You know, she know I just come out of prison and I don't have, no. That he has to prove himself.
That's right.
Get up. When he comes out, let him get up and get going and try it. And even if you see him trying hard and not being successful, you can actually understand that,
Yeah, at least he's trying.
He's trying.
Yes.
But again, make sure that he's able to prove to you what his intentions are, and don't settle for any mediocre reasoning. Let him really, really lay out his plans, because he's in prison. He has a lot of time to think. Now he's coming out of prison not just as a free man, but a man with a woman with children.
3 of them at that.
Exactly. So he has to have some condition into his mind. All right, and that will be my advice to you. Yeah. We got about 1 minute left. Of course, we gotta wrap it up. We gotta get out of here. Yeah, that's it for the week, though.
Time flies.
Monday to Thursday, man versus woman. We'll be back on Monday, God's willing. Of course, this is Junior Crew. Any plans for the weekend? Get some local food.
I'm spontaneous, I just allow things to happen.
Yeah. It's that type of weekend where people have their favorite spots that they would like to go. Some people like to try different places. Yeah. Some people just get up and go. Wherever they end up. But whatever you do, St. Lucia, do it safe. Let's try to have a casualty-free weekend.
Yes. Yep.
The only thing I want is for people to have fun, but put safety first. Once again, I want to thank you very much for being a part of Man versus Woman. Yeah, that's, I'm Asylum, and I've got Susie Q and
Suzette.
You almost said it.
I said Susie.
You almost said it.
Boy.
And you can catch us on Monday, same place, same time, right here in Hitz FM 92.1, 91.1, the maximum music authority. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, St. Lucia. From Man versus Woman, we'll catch you next week. All right?
Definitely.
All right.